The year 2025 continues to unfold under the shadow of persistent, complex conflicts. Missiles arc across the Arabian Peninsula, drones buzz through contested skies, and the language of retaliation echoes from Jerusalem to Sana'a. The attacks are mutual, a grim exchange that shows little sign of abating, contributing to the already heightened tensions gripping the Middle East. The waters of the Red Sea, a vital artery for global trade, have become yet another stage for this dangerous interplay, drawing in global powers and threatening wider economic disruption. Yemen, a land of ancient history and rugged landscapes, has long been a crucible of tribal loyalties, political instability, and foreign intervention. The Zaidi Shia community in northern Yemen, from which the Houthi movement emerged, has its own distinct history and grievances, feeling marginalized by successive central governments in Sana'a. The Houthi movement's ideological stance soon expanded beyond local concerns. Their slogan, "God is great, death to America, death to Israel, curse on the Jews, victory to Islam," adopted in the early 2000s, clearly signaled a broader geopolitical alignment. The Houthis increasingly positioned themselves as part of a wider regional resistance against perceived Western and Israeli hegemony, a stance that would later draw them closer to Iran. Israel, for its part, has historically viewed the Arabian Peninsula with a strategic lens, primarily concerned with the rise of hostile regimes or militant groups that could threaten its security. The chaos of the Yemeni civil war, which escalated significantly after 2014 when the Houthis seized the capital, Sana'a, created a power vacuum that allowed non-state actors to flourish and regional powers to exert influence, further alarming Israeli defense planners. The Houthis' alignment with Iran, a sworn enemy of Israel, became a critical factor. The Houthi movement, Ansar Allah, began as a theological revivalist group in the northern Sada province of Yemen, rooted in Zaydism, a distinct branch of Shia Islam. Led by Hussein Badreddin al-Houthi, the movement initially focused on cultural and religious grievances, protesting against the Saleh government's alignment with the United States. These protests escalated into armed conflict with the Yemeni government in 2004. By 2014, the Houthis seized control of Yemen's capital, Sana'a. This transformed them into the de facto authority in large parts of the country. Since November 2023, the Houthis have expanded their military activities beyond Yemen's borders, targeting Israel and commercial shipping in the Red Sea. They frame these attacks as acts of solidarity with the Palestinians in Gaza. This showcases their growing military capabilities, including long-range missiles and drones, and their ambition to project power on a regional stage. Their ability to regroup and adapt makes them a difficult adversary to defeat militarily. The declaration by the Houthis to actively join the fray against Israel, ostensibly in support of Palestinians in Gaza, marked a significant escalation and the opening of a new, albeit distant, front. Since late 2023, a pattern has emerged. Launches of missiles and drones from Houthi-controlled territories in Yemen, aimed toward southern Israel, particularly the port city of Eilat. These attacks, though often intercepted or falling short, carry symbolic weight and demonstrate the Houthis' intent and reach. Israel, possessing one of the world's most advanced multi-layered air defense systems, including Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow, has reported numerous successful interceptions of these projectiles. The Houthis publicly claim responsibility for these attacks, often releasing statements and videos to bolster their image as defenders of the Palestinian cause. The nature of these Houthi attacks often involves a mix of technologies, from older Scud-type ballistic missiles to newer, more sophisticated drones and cruise missiles, suspected to be of Iranian design or supply. Israel's response to the Houthi threat has been multifaceted, combining defensive measures with offensive actions aimed at deterrence and degrading Houthi capabilities. When Houthi attacks are confirmed, Israel has not hesitated to conduct its own strikes, targeting what it identifies as Houthi military assets, missile launch sites, logistics hubs, and suspected Iranian arms transfer nodes within Yemen. These operations are complex, given the distance and the challenging operational environment. A significant example of Israeli retaliation occurred on May 6, 2025, when Israel conducted a strike on Yemen's main airport in Sana'a. Reports indicated that this attack caused considerable damage and several casualties. Such strikes aim to send a clear message that Houthi aggression will not go unanswered, and to disrupt their ability to launch further attacks. The Israeli strategy also appears to involve persistent pressure, not just reactive strikes. This can include intelligence gathering, surveillance, and potentially covert operations designed to interdict weapons shipments or target key Houthi military figures. The goal is to create a deterrent effect, making the cost of attacking Israel too high for the Houthis to bear. The United States has been deeply involved in the Red Sea and Yemeni context, primarily focused on protecting freedom of navigation and countering threats from the Houthis to international shipping. This involvement has seen direct military action. For instance, the Trump administration initiated Operation Rough Rider around March 15, 2025, conducting over 800 airstrikes. More recently, a significant development was the announcement of a U.S. Houthi ceasefire agreement on May 6, 2025, reportedly brokered by Oman. Under this agreement, the United States agreed to halt its bombings in exchange for the Houthis ceasing their attacks on American and presumably other international vessels. However, crucially, the Houthis clarified that this ceasefire did not extend to their operations against Israel. They explicitly stated that attacks on Israel and targets perceived to be related to Israeli interests would continue, highlighting the limitations of the agreement. The U.S. strategy in the region remains a delicate balancing act. Washington is likely to continue supporting multinational maritime patrols to ensure freedom of navigation, press for tighter enforcement of the UN arms embargo on Yemen, to curtail weapons flows to the Houthis, and explore avenues for including Houthi representatives in a broader, more inclusive transitional governance framework for Yemen. The relationship between Iran and the Houthi movement is a subject of intense scrutiny and a critical factor in the ongoing conflict dynamics. It is often described as a pragmatic partnership, rooted in shared strategic goals, rather than a rigid hierarchical command structure. Iran views the Houthis as a valuable component of its axis of resistance, a network of regional allies and proxies that challenge Israeli and American influence in the Middle East. Evidence, including UN reports and weapons seizures, suggests that Iran has provided the Houthis with a significant array of support. This includes weapons, ranging from small arms and anti-tank missiles to more sophisticated ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs. Beyond materiel, Iranian assistance is believed to encompass training for Houthi fighters, technical expertise for missile and drone programs, and intelligence support. This backing has been instrumental in enhancing the Houthis' military capabilities, allowing them to sustain a long war against a technologically superior Saudi-led coalition, and more recently, to project force as far as Israel. While Iran provides crucial support, the Houthis maintain a significant degree of autonomy in their decision-making and operations. They leverage Iranian support to consolidate their control over Yemeni territory, enhance their legitimacy, and project power regionally. The persistent conflict involving Yemen, including the Houthi attacks on Israel and subsequent retaliations, exacts a devastating human toll, primarily on the civilian population of Yemen. Already one of the poorest countries in the Arab world before the civil war escalated in 2014, Yemen has since been plunged into one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Airstrikes, shelling, and ground fighting have destroyed critical infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, and water systems. Millions face food insecurity. Malnutrition is rampant, particularly among children. Preventable diseases like cholera have spread due to the collapse of public health services. Beyond Yemen's borders, the conflict contributes to heightened regional tensions and instability. Houthi attacks on shipping in the Red Sea, a critical waterway for global trade, have disrupted commerce. Increased insurance costs have forced some shipping companies to reroute vessels around Africa, adding time and expense to global supply chains. The conflict is also a flashpoint in the broader regional rivalry between Iran and its adversaries, including Saudi Arabia and Israel. Yemen serves as a proxy battleground where these larger geopolitical struggles play out. The mutual attacks between Israel and the Houthi-controlled parts of Yemen show no immediate signs of abating. The Houthis are deeply committed to their stance against Israel, especially with the ongoing Gaza conflict. Their resilience, honed by years of civil war and external support, makes them a difficult adversary. Israel will continue to respond to Houthi aggression with defensive and offensive actions. The asymmetrical nature of the conflict presents limitations to conventional military responses. Potential resolutions seem distant and complex. A lasting peace in Yemen requires a comprehensive political settlement involving all factions and regional powers. Without a significant shift in geopolitical dynamics, this conflict will remain a volatile feature of the Middle Eastern landscape.